It was the end of April, and I was moving out of my home in Chicago all the way to Nevada. I hired a company to take all my boxes and ship them to the new house just to make it a little bit easier on me. I wanted to take a road trip down there, stay at some hotels or Airbnbs along the way, and just relax for a few days. The total drive would take around 30 hours, so I split that into thirds and decided I would drive 10 hours each day and stay somewhere overnight. After planning out the times, I figured that my first stay would have to be on the far edge of Nebraska. I scrolled through Airbnb looking for anything cheap, as Nebraska didn't really have much to see, so I really just wanted a place to stay for 8 hours and then head back out on the road. I found a small one-story home with 2 bedrooms. Although I didn't really need the 2 bedrooms, the price was a really good deal, so I didn't mind the extra space. However, I did find it a little bit strange that they only showed pictures of 1 bedroom. Again, though, it didn't make much of a difference to me, so I booked it for the next night and got ready for bed. In the morning, I finished packing up my car with the rest of what I had and started the drive. I left a little bit later than I had wanted to, but I figured it wouldn't be much of a big deal other than having to drive in the dark for a few hours. If you've ever driven through Nebraska, you would know that it's very plain. There are long stretches, hundreds of miles long, with barely any light or buildings at all. A couple of hours after dark, I pulled up to the Airbnb. It was off the long, empty road I'd been on and down a short gravel path. Initially, I was a little bit disappointed, as it looked a lot more worn down on the outside than they had shown in the pictures. I reminded myself that I was only staying for a few hours just to sleep, so it didn't matter too much. I grabbed a couple of my bags and headed to the front door. Usually, the owners leave the key in a key box and give you the password, but this door had no key box. In fact, it actually had no lock at all. It was one of those plain doorknobs you'd usually see on a closet door. I started to get a little uneasy, but I didn't really have any other options for a place to stay. I opened the door and stepped in, and to my surprise, it was actually fairly nice on the inside. It was small, but the living room and kitchen were well furnished and seemed to be kept up with. I went to the first bedroom but noticed that it, too, did not have a lock. Thankfully, the second bedroom did, so that's where I decided to unpack. There was one thing that really creeped me out about this bedroom, though. Right in front of the bed on the wall was a small old doorway, maybe 3 feet tall and 2 feet wide. This was the actual picture I took of this doorway in the room. The more I looked at this door, the more unsettled I got. But there was no way I was staying in a room that I couldn't lock. I tried to open it just to check what was behind it, but it was locked from the other side. I figured the owner probably just kept some cleaning supplies back there, or extra towels or something. But still, this door gave me the creeps. I was getting pretty tired, though, so I only unpacked what I needed for the night and started to get ready for bed. I woke sometime in the middle of the night hearing a soft tapping noise coming from the edge of the bed. It was very subtle, but the whole house was silent aside from the tapping. I reached blindly for my phone on the nightstand and turned on the flashlight as quickly as I could. As I shined the light toward the edge of the bed, the tapping stopped. I'm not one to get scared easily, sure. I'll get creeped out or nervous, but never scared. But something about that small doorway at the edge of my bed in that moment made me truly scared. I jumped out of bed, turned on the lights, grabbed everything, and rushed out of the house as quickly as I could. It was still really dark outside, and I couldn't see much, but as I was backing my car out of the gravel path, I swear I saw a man lying on the ground behind the house. I drove down the road for probably 30 minutes before pulling over and texting the owner to tell him that there might be someone in his house and to call the police. I continued down the road for a couple of hours until I found a small town, and I parked in a grocery store parking lot just to get some sleep. I still don't really know what happened at that Airbnb, but the creepiest part was that when I checked my phone in the morning, I saw my message had been read just a few minutes after I sent it, but the owner never responded.